Oh, yes. And then I saw one recently. You know Apparently Boy? His name is something Noah, or his first name's Noah. Well, apparently I've never been on national news before. She sends him on trips with his grandpa and his grandma. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. She had him go to a museum where they had the big dinosaurs, and the big dinosaurs sneezed on him. He said it was just water, it wasn't big colors. He's a cute kid. Grandpa, get a picture. He's charming. All right, professional judgment. Our objectives to our session today. Explain the concepts of PJ and list the areas where the Department of Education gives guidance in making PJ decisions. Areas where Ed recommends PJ may be used, and areas where Ed recommends PJ not be used. Provide several examples illustrating PJ decisions. So here's some things to know. Your institution needs to have policy. It needs to be in writing. It's not going to be the same between institutions. So if someone's going to their college and they've given them the student the world, that may not fit in the policy of way of use, and that's okay. It's a challenge to explain to families, but everybody has their own discretion. There's no right or wrong policy. You just want to be consistent, and you want to follow what everybody's in your policy. So one of the things you might want to ask when you get back to your office is, what's our professional judgment policy? May I see it? And hopefully your director won't choke on, oh my gosh. It's a chore and a challenge to keep up policy and procedure manuals. In all honesty, it's very hard. Have you written one? Have you had to rewrite one? Yeah. And once a director gets it under their belt and they're maintaining it, that's really nice. But getting to that point can be really hard. What is professional judgment? Professional judgment is the authority provided under the Higher Education Act for aid administrators to exercise discretion in specific areas of student aid administration. And it gives you the section code. It recognizes that code recognizes that as financial aid professionals, there's stuff that happens and we need to be able to make some decisions to take care of our families because life happens. Aid administrators evaluate a family's true need by considering unusual or extenuating circumstances. And I can't emphasize enough, unusual or extenuating circumstances should be what they are. They can be used when requested by the student and family, and or when information provided on the aid application warrants it. I'm trying to think of one in that second category that I've ever had, and I can't think of one. Sean, have you ever had one when information provided on the aid application warrants it?
No, typically it's something the family initiates, something directly from the application from my experience.
Yeah. Now, I'm thinking about professional judgments, not like cost of attendance adjustments or something like that, because if I see something's happening with the student file and I need to do a cost of attendance adjustment, I just do it. I document what I did because of what I saw. I'm not thinking of any professional judgment situations now. I have had families talk to me, and that initiated me to encourage them to do a professional judgment. That happens a lot. But I haven't seen anything where I just went ahead and did it.
The only thing I've experienced is on the profile. Like you use the profile, they'll put something in the special circumstances box, which is, I guess, I didn't want to have that conversation.
Yeah, and we don't use profiles. So College Board has an early applier and institutional calculation called profile, and each institution decides how that institutional calculation is going to be done. They set up their own criteria, and there's a section in there that says where they can make comments, and that's where I'm talking about it. And that's at Elon. I would bet there's a lot of schools that use profile and do that. So they must be documented, so that anyone reviewing the student's file is able to understand the decisions made and the reasons for making the decisions. So basically you're leaving an audit trail. And the audit trail is for your manager, your director, your vice president, your board of trustees, however high up it goes, and all of your auditor situations. because the easier or they see and can follow your file, the easier that conversation is, and the less questions they will have for you. So I'm gonna leave this for you guys to do. It's 2 screens of that, but it's basically the higher ed authority information. You can get it in your handbook, or you can look at it when Sean sends you the PowerPoint. So, policies and procedures are required. They need to include how do students and parents request a professional judgment, what documentation is required, who in your office can do a professional judgment, who can make the decision, when will professional judgments be used, under what circumstances, what circumstances may trigger the use of a PJ, and where and what are the areas where adjustments are allowed, and describe the guidelines used when adjusting a student's award if a PJ changes aid eligibility. So we talked about a lot of that changing of aid eligibility. Generally it's the same, but the better this first policy is, the better. A lot of schools have one person that does professional judgment decisions. Sometimes there's a person and then a second person needs to sign off on them, and that's what we do at Williams because we're a small office. And some schools have a committee. So whatever y'all are doing, y'all just need to know what it is. So it can be helpful to your families, and be prepared to do a lot of these when classes are starting. They're trying to move into their dorm or whatever